under command volunteered. Okay, not really.
Forced volunteer.
He's forcibly volunteered to take us through a demonstration, a little practice of an experiential learning exercise. Okay, so would you like to nominate somebody to speak to, or to take through that experiential learning?
Ooh, okay. Not what I was expecting.
So you're going to nominate somebody, and then you're going to take them through the experiential learning exercise. You're going to facilitate them through it.
Anatoly?
Okay.
I need to say his name. Anatoly, thank you very much for your...
You can both take a seat if you want. There's another chair behind you.
Just for the purpose of the exercise, me and the others.
Excuse me if you could be louder because you can speak on that.
All right. I'm just saying to Anatoly that for the purpose of the exercise, that if you could remember some moment in your life where you went in the nature and you experienced some positive emotions.
What was the first point when in nature?
Yeah, when you took a walk
Over there?
in a nature, next to a river, in a forest, in a park, and you experienced some positive emotions.
Yeah, of course. It was my first day in Adelaide in Australia after migrating from Russia. I went to the beach. It was March, it was calm weather, it was shining, sun, and yeah,
How long time ago?
the, March 2015.
15, so 3 years ago.
3.5 years.
Now, when you were there on the beach in Australia, what feelings?
I did it.
What feelings you had?
I did it.
I did it.
Yes, I did it because migration process took me several years to get everything done. So prepare all the documents required for
It was like going through hell.
yeah.
And
No,
don't
not
stop.
hell, actually. It was hell, but it was quite a challenge for me to do it. So when dream came true, I just felt that if we really wish to do something, we can do it.
So like a confidence in yourself.
It wasn't confidence at that moment, that time, because yes, I came to Australia, but I didn't have a job at that time. My family had to arrive separately in half a year after me, so I had to find accommodation, I had to find a job for their arrival. I wasn't sure what will I do actually for earning money, but at that time I just didn't think about that particular moment that I was. And for the first several months I was driving in Adelaide and looking around, and I couldn't believe that I was here in Australia. It was an amazing feeling.
You did it.
Yes, I did it. Still I did it.
Okay, and how could you take that experience, that principle that you worked hard and it was step towards the goal. But how could you take it and apply it in your life now?
That's a good question, and that situation taught me how important it is to have dreams, how important it is to have goals, and particularly important if you see that it's not possible. Just let it go. Just calm down. Okay, it's not yours. Okay, just calm down, and after some time, you should see what you really wanted. Because in my situation, I'll explain, in my situation, I spent 2 years, year and a half to get all the documents prepared for migration process. But after that time, it happened in July, Australia has several states, and every state has its own migration legislation. And that state where I wanted to go, Australian Capital Territory, it's Canberra, they just closed my profession. So I couldn't come. After a year and a half of all the process, English learning, I just, okay, now it's closed. My opportunity to go to Australia is closed.
You sacrificed so much.
Yes, I've already done so much, and at the half of my way to Australia, that opportunity was closed. Okay, I just calm down and just relax. Okay, probably in the future I'll get another opportunity. So okay, I'll stay in Russia, I'll live here, I'll raise my children there, here in Russia, okay, that's fine. Just let it go. Alright, and just after a year, again in July, I just thought, okay, probably why not check again all the states about the legislation. Probably they changed it again in some of the states, they opened my protection. And this is what happened. In other states in South Australia, they opened my profession, they gave permanent visas for people with my profession, so I got visa. My dream came true.
Okay, how could you use that principle now in next 1 month?
Again, we need to have clear understanding of what we want. We need to have this is for me. This is the most probably difficult task: is to develop my own project. To understand. I know what inspires me. I need to apply my interest. I need to apply this in particular political circumstances in Australia, including taking into account social circumstances, political circumstances, relationship with government, what they need, how can I meet their needs, how can I build my projects so I can get funding from them. So this is my task for today. So, but that situation with my migration process taught me that we have to be committed to some goal to get it done.
Okay. Somebody wants to help me because I'm feeling I'm not achieving the goal. Because as I understand, the goal is learning implies change and should result in a modified thinking behavior. Facilitators' role is to assist the process by helping members formulate action plans for future activity. This needs to be realistic in time, energy, resources.
Okay, fellow students, thoughts on the experiential learning facilitation?
Now you can ask about experience, how it was feeling in that moment.
He already mentioned. He was feeling.
At that moment on the beach,
One more time.
at that moment on the beach,
No, I mean, but you know, you were describing. I mean, you were describing so many problems through your visa was cancelled, your application was cancelled because of political or whatever situation it was, and you didn't apply again. But then opportunity was again, and then I was feeling. I mean, when your opportunity seemed to be closed, and then you get it back.
Some more feedback on experiential learning facilitation. Sundar Janana.
I'm just thinking that maybe it's going a little bit too far, the story. Maybe it's just supposed to be more focused on that particular experience. Like you said, in nature, good feeling. Maybe it's just going too far. Or,
Okay. Other thoughts on experiential learning facilitation?
I think you did pretty well. You went through what happened and what was the feeling, and afterwards, what was the feelings you take it out, the feeling that I could do it. And you name the feeling and you apply it in life. What is planned. Maybe it's not defined what you're going to do, but I think that the idea of I need to know what to do next got there. So I think it was successful, even though there was not a change, but you just reapply what you thought into the future.
Yeah, I just felt that I didn't get it. But maybe I did.
Some feedback on your experiential facilitation. You had fairly clear stages. You asked the right questions at appropriate times. I found you to be quite an attentive listener. And although there was some confusion in the middle, you still got some application actually at the end, where you said have a clear idea of what we want. Some suggestions for the next time you do experiential facilitation is that you want to be a little bit more clear with your initial question. It was quite clear, and then you had to kind of re-explain it a few times. So ensure that there's as much as possible, great clarity with the initial question. In the reflection stage, he said, I didn't. That was as close as a feeling as I heard. Maybe he said something I didn't hear. So you want to kind of move, you have to pull him back. In other words, what happened is in the reflection stage, when he was asking, okay, what feelings did it generate? He had the feeling of I didn't. You still kind of derive something from it, but perhaps it could be a bit more clear. And then he moved into a lesson. But at that stage, he wasn't ready for a lesson, so you had to pull him back and say, well, based on your experience of, walking at the beach, etc., how did it make you feel? It actually made me feel refreshed. It made me feel inspired. It made me feel motivated. It made me feel connected.
So a bit more crystallized.
Yeah.
What happened there, and a bit more specific with the feeling.
Yeah. What particular feeling did it generate? Because then what's going to be used in your conceptualization, which is the next stage. So at times the explanations were a bit long. So don't be afraid to cut in. You're allowed to interrupt. If an answer to a question is too long, you can cut in and just restate it. Okay. What's the general principle we can apply from, walking close to nature? Okay. So you can restate the question a few times so that it's concise. And then there was some, I think then it went into something around migration or legislation, so it became a little bit off topic. So pull him back to it, otherwise the mind will go in different places. Pull him back so that it becomes clear.
I just have a question
Yeah.
right now about this. Pulling back on the basis of the first question
Means that you have the stages very clearly in your mind. So when I say pull back, it means that there's two things that would happen. Either he was jumping the stage, Or, so the problem with when you jump a stage, it stops you from fully owning that stage, isn't it? Just like sometimes when I'm doing seminars on forgiveness, I get people to explain why they're hurt. But they start explaining why they shouldn't be hurt. Isn't it?
Yeah.
So you have to put them back and say, no, wait, why are you hurt? So that when you own it, you can change it. So you first have to help the person become responsible for their either positive or negative learning experience. And then they can modify it. That's one way you have to put it back. Or the other is if it goes off topic. You have to restate the question based on whatever stage you're in. So,
in this circumstance,
yeah.
when my question was, remember a time where you were in nature, experienced those things. Then he remembered the time, and then, okay, he got the feelings. Now, it wasn't really clear for me how to bring it to the next one, how to... there's that question is...
Yeah, your question was pretty good when what you asked. But I'd go for... Well, it was difficult to bring him to the next stage because he didn't give you the stage, the answer that he said I didn't. So it wasn't as clear enough for you. That's why it would be difficult to make the link to the next stage. So if you had a feeling of, let's say for example, he said, okay, I felt very refreshed. Then you could say, okay, what general principle can we apply from your experience of walking with nature, of walking at the beach? Okay, it's very refreshing, it's enlivening, it can help, refresh the mind. So that's now a learning point. Okay, now how can you apply that in your life? I'll increase the amount of times I take a walk at the beach or do some jump at the beach, etc.
But interesting that in this case, although I asked a question about the nature, it went more not about the nature. It went more about his. There was a long pre-story. He remembered that moment when he did it. So it kind of shifted almost from that original,
Yeah, so then with that is that there's you again you have a restate the question, which helps. Or in some cases, there's an even more powerful, significant learning experience that's going to take place with that shift. But generally, it depends on your seminar, the seminar that you're doing. So if you find that something else comes from the mind that could help with the objectives of your seminar, then you can go with it. But if something comes up in the description and it's not really in line with the seminar, then you restate the question. Just like, again, sometimes if I'm doing the seminars on forgiveness, something else will come up that they weren't aware of, but it's going to help with the shifting, so then I let them go that way. But if something else comes up that is just not even aligned with the seminar, then I'll pull them back and restate the question. So it's always about the need and objectives of your session.
So we always bring them to a modified...
That's the key, because you're taking someone's experience and you're helping them realize the importance of you're helping them realize the importance of a particular type of behavior. For example, let's say I ask you to reflect on an experience with the parents. Okay? And then someone will come up with a different experience. Let's say a parent was a bit too harsh with their punishment, for example. Okay, so kind of how did it make you feel? Okay, it made you feel like this and that, unheard, misunderstood. Okay, what principle can we apply from appropriate or inappropriate? What principle can we learn or apply about the punishment of children, for example? Okay, we have to ensure that it's in a way that still inspires the child, or this and that. And how do you apply that in your life? Okay, I'll make sure and ensure that I'm more appropriate with my correcting. So that's the learning. So the modification is the most important element. Because in that situation, you're not telling them what to do. They're making their own internal vow or promise of what to do.
It's easier when it's a bad experience or a good experience. But when it's a positive experience already, how do you get the change?
The modification there would just be more about improving and enriching it. So it's a further elaboration on the proper principle, which is still okay. So, because if you think about in our subconscious mind, in our samskaras, we've got positive and negative experience of samskaras.